It was just, I'm talking about this experience now because it thrust me in to being 15 years old again like that. Like I'm a grown man, and just one little statement made me feel like I was 15 years old again, and I wanted to fight, and I wanted to throw stuff. And it's just people don't realize, how much this is. But the hopefulness of the story is I talked to him, and very respectful young man. We exchanged, it was a beautiful exchange of conversation. And I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, assume he didn't say it. It's still what I think I heard. So I guess I'm not going to talk about that anymore. But one thing I got to say is the young man is here tonight, so amen to that. And then people just shaking their head at me as I drive by. I do drive like a grandpa. But, there's no reason to even, I'm just driving and someone shakes their head at me. So I get out and say, excuse me, why are you shaking your head at me? What is it? I don't like you. I don't like your rims. Okay. And to me, when I hear that, I hear, screw you, nigga. That's what I hear. That's really what he wants to say. Let's just keep it real. That's what he wants to say. But he can't say that because it's not socially acceptable anymore. It's not cool. And Obama's president, so everybody can't do that stuff no more. And all that did, thank God Obama's president. That's a beautiful thing. But I feel like anytime somebody brings that up to me, they're telling me, they're at the dinner table and they're throwing me a bone and say, take that scrap. Take that, be good with that. And I'm not good with that. I'm not president. Like, what is it? It's not really, it's a beautiful move. It says something about our country. We've came a long way, but that's not it. That's not the end of the road. So, and I just feel like because of that, we've instituted a covert racism, an underlying tone racism. And I felt like that's what I was getting when people say that I don't like the way you look, or I don't like the way you wear your clothes, or the way you talk, or the way you dress. And then it seems like when I confront them, they just always, oh, what? No, it's all right. Like, that's what I loved about the South. If people felt like that, they said that, and you knew where people stood. Everybody says, oh, the South is so racist. I came up here. I felt more up here than my whole life out of any state I've been in. So tell me, what does Minnesota nice mean? Don't get me wrong. Obviously, there's beautiful people and beautiful hearts here. I'm just saying, we got work to do. So that's one of the things that led me here. Another thing that led me here is a lady talked to me on Facebook, told me about her 14-year-old son walking down the street, and a group of grown adults, I believe it was in Nashville, a group of grown adults called him nigger and told him they didn't like the way he dressed, the way he walked. A group of grown adults on a 14-year-old kid. And so he tells his mom comes. She said, his mom's wife, she says, I'm going to call the police. He's black. They said, go ahead, call the police. We hope they kill him. I believe Michael Brown might have been mentioned. I heard that name. So, that's just disgusting. It's disgusting. She called the police, and they came and took statements and left. And I called the police department. I called Nashville Police Department. I said, man, I'm sick of just sitting at the computer, arguing with people. It's not doing nothing. Like, I got to get active and do something. And it wasn't much, but at least I made a phone call. I told them about the incident. I said, what are you guys doing? Like, what's going on? How are you treating this? How do you perceive this? And a fellow by the name of Officer Joe, that's his name, he said he's 1/3 of the police department. Good guy though. He said, I told him, he said, what? He said, man, I've been gone on paternity leave. I just got back. I didn't hear anything about this. He said, yeah, he didn't say he was white, but I assumed he was white. But he said, I got 2 kids staying with me right now, my cousin's kids, and they're black. He said, and I would hate for this to happen to them. I said, man, well, you better start hating right now. It's not a question of will it, it's a question of when. So it's your job to prepare them for that. You know what I mean? Or do you want them when it happens to be just stuck and doesn't know how to act and wear their emotions on their sleeve and do what they want them to do, which is get violent. See, that's what they do. They get violent, they can't handle it. You know, you have to prepare them with how to react to this stuff. But I wanted him to come, but he just started working nights. He said the next thing I have, if I have something, he'll go. I mean, because I just feel like, I'm not going to lie, I'll even say it about me. Obviously, I've had interactions with the law. I have preconceived notions about the law. I've had bad experiences with the law. But I also know that I made that bed. I know that when I get in trouble, I do the time. That's on me. I stand on that. That's not because anybody singled me out. That's me. I made those choices. All I'm saying is it should be equal across the board for everybody. You get in trouble, you get in trouble, you get in trouble, you all get the same thing. And don't seek me out to see if I'm making trouble. And don't ask me where I'm from. Engage in conversation with me, and then maybe it'll come up where I'm from. Don't come up to me and assume I'm not from here. Even if I talk with a Russian accent, like that's just, you just don't do that to people. Where are you from? How about you just say, how's your day? What you doing? How's your day going? What are you doing? Yeah, I see you got some milk in your cart. You ate some cereal, staying healthy, something. Anything is just where you from. So I called him, and then I called the city hall. I said, listen, I want to have a meeting. I want to get people together, and I want to talk. I want to open down. I want to give. I want an exchange. I don't want to just sit up there with a bunch of like-minded people, and then we all agree, and then we go home. I want different opinions, and I want questions. Otherwise, we're not going to go nowhere. So they pointed me to the direction of the Human Rights Committee. Deb Sanderson. Wonderful, wonderful lady. Everybody on the committee is wonderful. And she said, we got a meeting Wednesday. The last Wednesday every month we have a meeting. Come on down. So I came there. I wrote up a little something. I read it to them, and they received me with open arms. And if they didn't, I probably wouldn't even be here. Because regardless of how much somebody tells me I make sense, or somebody tells me I speak the truth, people can say that all day, especially family. They'll tell you anything good. So I need to hear from people who don't know me, people who I look at and I assume wouldn't like me telling me that. I mean, I guess I don't need it, but it sure helps. I mean, yeah, I don't need it, but it helps. It helps propel me. It helps confirm what I'm saying and what I'm thinking. So I went to the meeting. I told them what I had to say. They started talking about radio, newspaper, all this, and I'm like, what? And it was kind of a shock, because I just told you a little bit of my story, and nothing in it consisted of talking to people publicly. So I said, okay, I went to the radio. I did an interview and told them, and we talked about this. I went to the Herald Review, gave them a couple writings. They said, we love it. We'll get back to you. So again, these are things that's telling me, all right, man, this community must be thirsty for this. So it helped push me. And then I met with the Blanda Foundation. I didn't even ask to meet with them. Somebody spoke my name and gave a little bit of my story to them. And because of that, just because of that, they wanted to meet me. And I was like, why? I guess I didn't understand, and I questioned people's motives. Because I don't want to be the token black guy. I want to have a voice. I don't want to be the token black guy on any committee just to say, yeah, we got him. You know, I want a voice. I want to be heard because of what I say and because you agree with me. And that's it. And they didn't make me feel like that at all. They made me feel wonderful. The opposite of an outcast. Also, I got to say, on that note, I'm not the national black spokesperson for all this. We all have different skills. We all have different opinions. We all have different beliefs. We all like different music. We all like different sports. We all have different passions, just like you, different shades. You know, we are varied people too. But I do believe I speak universally as far as our experience. That's something I think I do speak universally on, our experience with racism and how we must live our lives to get through it. Let's see here. But there's one thing we have in common. One thing. And that is, we all like great Kool-Aid. Now, see, listen. Why was that joke okay? Why was that joke okay? I'm not saying the ones who are laughing, y'all going to hell. But think about it. Why is that joke okay? It's okay because of the color of my skin, number one. Number two, because I came here. What happened from the moment she called my name and I came up here, from the moment she called my name to this joke, what happened was an exchange, a rapport. We built a rapport. I gave you a story. I gave you a piece of me. And some would say it's not an exchange because it's more me talking and you listening, but silence speaks volumes. So when you're sitting there silently engaged in my conversation, you're talking to me right there. So, I mean, I'm just trying to break it down why that's okay, to talk about this stuff. I made myself vulnerable with that joke. Some people would say, no fair. Why is it okay for him to joke about it? But this is what I call doing too much. You're doing too much. Rather than waste all the energy on why you can't joke on certain things, focus on how I can make myself vulnerable, and I can joke about it. And then we got a chance for some more open dialogue, and we knock all the awkwardness right away. That sets the tone. Let's knock away the awkwardness, let's not be uptight, and let's have an open discussion. And some people too would say, oh, why would you get mad at that anyway? Why would you get mad at somebody just assuming you like great Kool-Aid? To that I say, if they say that, if they really say that in not a jokeful way like that, and they really say that to hurt you, there's a whole lot of other stuff that's going on up in their head that they're just not saying. In their head they're saying, screw you nigga, you lazy, you're on welfare, all the crap that goes with it. I'm better than you, all of it. That's what they're saying, but they could just throw the Kool-Aid out there without saying all that stuff. And then what I say? And I mean, it's just so many ways to say stuff without saying it. But I think too much in society we're asking why we can't do this and he can't, about things that aren't even privileges. Is that a privilege to joke about Kool-Aid? Is it a privilege for white people to say nigga too? Why they say it but we can't? It's not a privilege. Do not ever complain about or ask what about someone else's when it's not even a privilege. I can understand it. Now I'll tell you something to complain about. Why did he get the $30 an hour job and I didn't? And we both had the same qualifications. Complain about that. Another subject that kind of ties into this is, as far as complaining about stuff, the Confederate flag. Minnesota. Y'all really need a Confederate flag? It's Minnesota. If you really want to watch Dukes of Hazzard, you can get it on Amazon. I could really care less if the show was on TV or not. The network did that. Not black people, not Black Lives Matter movement, not protesters. Network TV took that on to send a message. So get mad at them for trying to send a message. You go down south with that flag and they'll call you a Yankee. They might just book you for having the flag. I'm just telling you, it's a whole different culture down there. It's offensive. The flag is offensive, and its history is very well known. The KKK and Dylann Roof, who shot up the church, they didn't give the flag a bad rap. This flag had a bad rap. It was born from white racists who wanted to secede from the Union and keep their slaves. We can get into argument about all the other dynamics, about the Industrial Revolution and all that, but really, that's all secondary. Secondary. The primary, why don't we look at the moral fiber of it instead of the economic fiber? Look at the moral fiber of it, because I really don't care about the rest. They wanted slaves. They fought for slaves. I mean, the flag is, it's just bad. It's bad. It's offensive. But at the same time, and as far as people using it to show they're a rebel, how about you show you're a rebel by denouncing it? How about that? There's other ways to show you're a rebel. Having a picture or an emblem is not how you show things, it's how you act and how you interact with people. But I know a flag doesn't change minds, and that's why I really don't care about the use of hazard. I don't care about the flag getting took down because it doesn't change minds. Now back to the joke thing. We act differently with physical interaction. You know what I mean? You're forced to witness and see the result of your joke or your statement versus through a computer. Now, if I would have stated that joke right away when I came out here, totally different reaction. If she said, all right, Sam Salome, I just stood up. Black people like Kool-Aid. Everybody wrong meeting. And what made that happen is us exchanging, that physical interaction. You know, we read body language, eyes, posture, demeanor, tone. We can't all see things on a computer screen. Body language speaks volumes, eyes speak volumes. Like I said, you're all engaged in my voice right now. I have your undivided attention, and I thank you all for that. And that, like I said, that in itself speaks out to me. But that report is built on my stories. I told you why I came here. I told you what brought me here. I told you some of the things I said, and you might be surprised. Like, damn, I didn't know all that stuff happened here. Or you might say, damn, I can't, why is he saying nigger? Why doesn't he just say the N-word? If I'm telling you a story, what's the point of me just saying the N-word when I'm trying to tell you what really happened? I'll tell you what the point is, to make you feel more comfortable. Because it's less comfortable. It makes you uncomfortable sitting next to somebody while I'm just sitting here telling you a story about somebody calling me nigger. It makes you feel uncomfortable. So you want me to say the N-word, that way it makes you more comfortable. But I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say it like it is. They said nigger to me. They said nigger to the 14-year-old boy. Our feelings weren't spared. He had to feel it. Why should any of you be spared? If it's a true story and we want you to feel what the victim felt, that's what you do. You don't sugarcoat. And you never embellish. Never embellish. But that report of sharing made it easier to laugh and allows you guys to let your defenses down, which I hope you have. Because this is a free-thinking environment. This is a casual atmosphere. But this is a serious epidemic. No one here tonight is going to tell anybody how they should feel. We can talk about us, we can talk about how we view things, but we can't tell people how to feel. Give you a little story here. I think it's a good metaphor for diversity in the community. What if all the trees were oaks? How plain would the world seem? No maple syrup, banana splits, and how would orange juice be? Wouldn't it be a boring place if all the people were the same, just one color, just one language, just one family name? But if the forest were the world and all the people were the trees, palm and pine, bamboo and willow, live and grow in harmony. Aren't you glad, my good friend? Different though we be, we are able to help each other. I learn from you, and you learn from me. We can attempt to allow others to see things from a different view. And I think that's the key. Instead of saying, no, that's wrong, no, don't do that, no, you should see it like this. Say, hey, come here, sit down with me. Let me tell you what I think. Let me tell you what brought me to see this way. What do you think? Do you think do you see why I would think that? Yeah, I see why you would think that. Well, you know what? I see why you would think that too. Let's meet halfway. It's that simple. I'm guilty of it too. I'm not, everything I tell you tonight, everything I say to you, I'm saying to me. I need constant reminders every day. Everything I say to you, I'm saying to me. Like I said, I know it won't happen overnight, but that's fine. We got people willing to listen, we got hope. But here's the key. Hope is only good by itself for so long with no action. Keep that in mind. All hope and no action make it hard to have faith in people who talk of action. A lot of racism here is covert, sideways jokes. People need to be more aware and culturally sensitive. Don't ask us where we are from. Allow us to tell you on our own once we start to conversate. It automatically makes you feel like an outcast and like you stick out in a negative or quote-unquote foreign way. And also, quit asking me if I know where to get me weed. Any marijuana? Yeah. Random strangers at gas stations. An undercover black cop could bust this whole damn town. And so, you know, I'm not just saying these things because they fit my agenda. I believe I should say some things that aren't my words. The way I got some backing. I have a few quotes from reputable journalism professionals. Yeah, I didn't come here to just speak lifeless statistics and show facts that show disparity. I came to show feeling and create thought based on moral fiber. Moral fiber. The ability and strength to do what you think is right, even in a difficult situation. The ability to do what you think is right in a difficult situation. Now, who among us